Alright, so briefly we're going to check out a couple clips from this video here.
Joe Biden says that by May 1st, every single American, regardless of age, will be able to get a vaccine.
That's much earlier than expected.
Which means Cinco de Mayo could look like this. There are still lots of Americans who are going to slow down our path to herd immunity by refusing to get a vaccine. And the Americans most reluctant to get the vaccine? Trump voters. According to a new poll from NPR, PBS, and Marist, 47% of Trump voters said they would say no to a vaccine if offered, the highest of any group surveyed. They were followed by Republicans, white evangelicals, Latinos, non-college educated white people, and black people. As for the groups most willing to say yes to the vaccine, Biden voters and Democrats. 58% of each group said they plan to get poked, followed by Latinos, Gen Z and millennials, big city residents, and college graduates. Yes, depressingly, it still seems that people are aligning their political beliefs with how they think about coronavirus.
It's sad, isn't it?
Get the shot, gang. You won't end up like this guy.
So we have statistics, pushing a little divide and conquer. But again, as I've said in other videos, this is about sovereignty over our bodies. This is not about the safety necessarily of the vaccine. Now we're going to check out a little bit of this video and notice the choice of words.
Now the threshold is no more than 10 new COVID cases per 100,000 people per day. The state said it would move this threshold when it was able to vaccinate at least 2 million people in the most underserved communities. And it met this goal on Friday. So which counties does this affect? In our area, that means counties like Placer, Colusa, and Tuolumne will shift, and residents can enjoy new freedoms like dining, gyms, and theaters indoors with modifications like capacity limits.
Do you see what I'm saying here? Notice the language, that after a certain amount of people are vaccinated, the state will then allow you your freedoms like dining. I remember when freedoms were things that were upheld in the Constitution, like freedom of speech, right to a fair trial. Now we've sunk into a level where those things have been thrown out the window, and we're going to celebrate if we have the freedoms to buy chicken nuggets from people, or gluten-free salads or some shit. Whatever. The point is that we've reached a place now where you can't even get together with 15 of your friends and drink beers together without being punished by the government. Just think how crazy that sounds. If you take yourself back in time, 20 years ago, a little over 20 years ago, if you go to pre-9/11 times, if you were to tell people that 20 years from now, you won't be able to get together with your friends and dance because the government won't allow you to do so, and the only way you'll be allowed to do it is if you inject into your body what the government says you have to inject into your body. So that's why I feel like the biggest issue we're facing today is one of perception control. That's what's so frustrating and scary about all of this to me. It's like this weird trance that people have been put in, and they don't see how fucked up things actually are. We've just adjusted, I had to take a moment to look up the term because I couldn't think of what it was called. Shifting baseline syndrome. That's kind of what I see happening here. In our society, right? I mean, there was a time when having the government spy on every aspect of your life seemed like a freaking nightmare. But now it seems like people welcome the idea because slowly over time, well, you know, it becomes normal to take your shoes off and take your belt off and take everything out of your pockets when you go into a certain place. And so, you know, I guess at one point in time that was kind of an invasion of privacy, but now it's normal. The baseline has shifted. And that's where we are now in this society. It's, you know, becoming normal to walk up to something, have your face scanned, and then you go through. But where is that going to lead us in the future? I don't think we're looking at the big picture or the long term. As I've said in other videos, or at least I think I've said it in other videos, if I haven't, let me make it clear again. That's why I'm making this video, because it needs to be said more than once. This isn't just about the safety of this one vaccine. It's about sovereignty over your body in the future. Again, if we make this social contract and set this precedent of the state can withhold very basic things, like just you getting together with your family until you put something into your body, you are relinquishing a certain amount of freedom that is going to be very, very difficult, if not impossible, to get back. So that's still my biggest concern surrounding the vaccine and the whole response to the COVID virus in general. And it's still something that I yet to hear discussed very often, if ever. Actually, I don't think I've ever heard it discussed on mainstream media, but maybe I just haven't seen it. I don't see anybody discussing this issue of sovereignty over our bodies. It's just this false dichotomy of pro-vax versus anti-vax, and the anti-vax people are mostly Trump supporters, and the pro-vax people are mostly Biden supporters. There's a bigger issue at hand, and it's about sovereignty, control, freedom. But maybe the baseline has shifted, and I'm the one that's wrong. Maybe having the freedom to choose what happens to your body is an outdated concept, and maybe we don't want to have sovereignty over our bodies anymore.